The classroom was quiet. Children from many different alien races sat in their seats. They were learning about galactic history. It was a normal day. Then a small hand went up. The teacher stopped talking. She looked at the young Kelton child in the front row. The child's shell was still soft and shiny. Very young. Too young to understand the dark history of the galaxy. Yes, child? The teacher asked. Teacher, why did the humans help us? The child asked. Why did they fight for our freedom when they lost everything? The classroom went silent. Every student turned to look at the teacher. She was a Kelton too, but older. Her shell carried marks from her ancestors. Marks from centuries of slavery. The teacher smiled sadly. Because someone had to, she said quietly. The child looked confused. The teacher sat down and began the story. 300 years ago. The Galactic Council chamber was massive. It was built to show power. To make visitors feel small and weak. Hundreds of alien species sat in the Great Hall. They represented the Senate. Below them, the Council species sat on high thrones. These were the rulers of the galaxy. The Soloons. The mighty race that had controlled the stars for thousands of years. That day something unusual happened. A human asked to speak. The Senate members laughed. Humans were new. Weak. They had only been in space for a few hundred years. What could they possibly say that mattered? The speaker stood at the center of the chamber. He was a Kelton. Tall and decorated with expensive medals and robes. But everyone knew the truth. He was a slave. Modified and trained only to speak clearly. Nothing more. Then the human entered. He was old. Very old. He walked with a wooden cane because of a bad leg. He wore a simple suit. Nothing fancy. Nothing to show power. The aliens whispered and laughed. This was the human ambassador? This weak old man? The human walked slowly to the speaking platform. He stopped and looked at the Kelton speaker. For a moment something passed between them. Understanding maybe. Or pity. Thank you, speaker, the old man said. His voice was calm. I appreciate this chance to speak. Some council members looked annoyed. The human spoke to the speaker first, not to them. It was disrespectful. But they allowed it. This would probably be the only time humans ever spoke here anyway. The old man waited. The chamber slowly became quiet. Then he spoke. Humanity is young compared to many here, he began. We have only existed for 300,000 years. In our history we have dark truths. Things we are not proud of. But we learned from them. He looked directly at a Soloon council member. We have studied your laws since joining the council. And we found something wrong. Very wrong. The chamber became tense. What was this human saying? We know slavery, the old man continued. Only 300 years ago we finally stopped it completely among our people. We learned that treating anyone as less than equal is foolish. It limits everyone's potential. Angry voices filled the chamber. How dare this human criticize the council? The old man kept talking. We once believed women were less than men. That they should only stay home and raise children. We were wrong. His voice grew stronger. We once believed people from Africa were not fully human. That they were only good for hard labor. We were wrong. Wars were fought to end these beliefs. Laws were written. Constitutions were changed. The Senate was shouting now. But the Soloon Council leader raised his hand. Silence fell. His cold yellow eyes stared at the small, frail human below. The old man turned to face the council directly. I have been directed by my leaders to make a motion. Slavery must be abolished. All species must have equal standing in the Senate. Former colonies must be freed. Reparations must be paid. He said it calmly. Like it was obvious. Like there was no other possible choice. The chamber exploded in rage. Threats. Insults. Accusations. The old human just stood there, leaning on his cane. Watching. Waiting. The council leader, a massive creature with scales and a crooked jaw, finally spoke. His voice boomed across the chamber. The Soloons have ruled the stars for thousands of your years. We conquered a dozen empires before this council even existed. Your leaders are fools. You will be just another footnote in history. Your descendants will work in chains for their betters. The old man smiled. Not a happy smile. Something sadder. Something dangerous. A young race we are. Yes, he said quietly. But know this. He looked up at the council leader. 400 years ago we landed on our moon. 20 years before that we split the atom. 40 years before that we learned to fly. He paused. We have known war for 200,000 years. If you choose war you will quickly learn how far we have come. From the first sharpened stick, to now. The chamber went silent. 400 years ago your grandfather sat in that chair, counselor. He used the same luxury shuttle you use today. The same patrol ships have monitored your space for 800 years. The old man's smile faded. You have been stagnant for thousands of years. Comfortable. Content. He gripped his cane tighter. 300,000 years ago, my ancestors made spears from sticks and stones. His eyes were cold now. Art. Do you wish to learn what our spears look like today? The Senate erupted in violent outrage. Calls for war echoed through the chamber. The old human looked one last time at the Kelton speaker. The speaker asked quietly, "Why?" The old man smiled sadly. Because someone had to. 2 years later. The Grand Admiral stood on the bridge of his warship. He looked at the display screen with satisfaction. 117 ships. The largest war fleet the Council had assembled in centuries. They are only children playing with toys, he said to his crew. Humans have been in space for only 400 years. We have ruled the stars for thousands. His officers nodded. It was true. How could these young humans possibly fight the mighty Silloon Empire? The Silloon counselor sat in a large chair on the bridge. He was there to watch the humans be crushed. To see them beg for mercy. How long until we reach human space? The counselor asked. Minutes, Excellency, the Admiral replied. We will jump into their system and destroy them quickly. Then we will teach them what happens when... Alert! Alert! A crew member shouted from his station. His voice was panicked. Multiple energy spikes. Systems failing. Sensors are going crazy. The Admiral rushed to the center of the bridge. What is happening? Sir, our systems are being attacked. Something is. Boom. The ship shook violently. Red lights flashed everywhere. We are under fire, another crew member screamed. But the sensors show nothing. What do you mean nothing? The Admiral roared. Through the bridge windows, flashes of light appeared. Ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Dozens of them. But they were not human ships. They were Council ships. Their own fleet. Sir. The ships are firing at each other. What? The Admiral watched in horror. Council ships were shooting at Council ships. The Shuldente vessels fired at the Killian Consortium. The Silloon battleships fired at the Waralia cruisers. Chaos. Complete chaos. Stop. Cease fire, the Admiral screamed into the communications. But nothing worked. The systems were not responding. Another explosion rocked the ship. Hull breach on Deck 7. Casualties reported. The counselor stood from his chair, his eyes wide with rage and fear. What is going on? Then, as suddenly as it started, everything stopped. The weapons went silent. The sensors came back online. The communications cleared. A technician at his station spoke quietly. Sir, I found something. There are thousands of small satellites around our fleet. They were invisible to our sensors. They attacked our computer systems. The Admiral's blood went cold. Show me the real sensor data, he ordered. The screens changed. There were no enemy ships around them. The fleet had been firing at itself. Friendly fire. Brother killing brother. But now the sensors showed something else. Human ships. Real human ships. Appearing at the edge of sensor range. 50 warships. Smaller than his fleet. But something about them was different. Wrong. They moved in perfect formation. Like one creature with many arms. All ships, battle stations, the Admiral commanded. Prepare to. The human fleet split apart. Ships moved with impossible speed and precision. Some went high. Some went low. Some straight ahead. They are surrounding us, a crew member shouted. Small craft launched from the human ships. Hundreds of them. Like angry insects swarming. Torpedoes detected. Incoming. Fighters detected. Unknown weapons signature. The reports came faster and faster. Too fast. Then the lead human ship fired. A massive beam of light shot across space. It hit a Silloon warship directly. The ship's shields flashed once. Then failed. Then the ship exploded into a ball of fire and debris. One shot. One kill. All weapons fire. Fire, the Admiral screamed. The Council fleet opened fire. Hundreds of weapons launched at the human ships. Energy beams. Kinetic weapons. Missiles. Everything. But the human ships were fast. So fast. They dodged and weaved. Their shields flashed but held strong. And then they fired back. The battle that followed was brutal. The Council ships fought hard. They had more numbers. More tonnage. But the humans had better technology. Better training. Better coordination. Every human ship knew what every other human ship was doing. They moved as one. The Council fleet was different. Each species fought independently. The Silloons gave orders, but the other species did not always obey. Some were too slow. Some were too afraid. Some just did not understand the commands. One by one, Council ships fell. The small Childente vessels tried to fight back. They were scavengers, not warriors. But they tried. 3 of their ships charged at a human destroyer. The lead Childente ship took the human weapons fire head-on. It broke apart, but it shielded the ship behind it. That ship fired grappling hooks. Massive cables attached to the human destroyer. Clever, the human captain whispered. But not clever enough. The cables pulled tight. Both ships spun violently. Metal screamed. Hulls broke open. Both ships exploded. The human fleet lost its first ship. But the Childente lost 3 more. Hours passed. The battle raged on. The Killian Consortium ships tried to run. Human torpedoes hunted them down. Silent. Invisible. Deadly. The Waralia fleet tried to fight. But human AI-controlled drones tore through their formation like wolves through sheep. The massive Talhasalsa ship crashed into a human cruiser. Both ships died in the collision. The admiral watched his fleet die. Ship after ship. Explosion after explosion. Finally, the remaining Council ships retreated. Running. Fleeing. The admiral's flagship was damaged. Barely functional. But alive. Behind him, the counselor sat in his chair. Silent. Shaking. The sensor operator spoke quietly. Sir. We lost 78 ships. The humans lost 12. Well, the admiral closed his eyes. The humans had won. Easily. And this was just the first battle. After the first battle, gathering party leader Forensier stared at the screen. His hands shook. 12 ships. His clan had brought 12 ships to this war. 12 ships filled with his sons, daughters, cousins, brothers, and sisters. Now only 3 remained. The Childente were a small species, barely waist-high to most other aliens. They were scavengers. They collected salvage from old battlefields. They were not warriors. But the Council had demanded they fight, or lose everything. Forensier looked at his crew. They were afraid. He was afraid too. Gathering leader, one of his sons said quietly, "We can still run. Leave this battle. The humans might let us go." Forensier wanted to say yes. He wanted to save his family. But he knew the truth. If they ran, the Council would punish them. Not just him. Not just his crew. But every Childente in the galaxy. Their families. Their children. Everyone. The Childente had a small voice in the Senate. Barely any power. If they failed here, they would lose even that. They would become slaves again. Or worse. Food for the stronger species. No, Forensier said. We fight. For our people. For our children's future. His crew nodded slowly. They understood. They were dead already. But maybe their sacrifice would mean something. The human fleet. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the Independence. She watched the battle data scroll across her screens. The Council fleet was breaking apart. Many ships were fleeing. Others were damaged and drifting. But 3 small ships were turning around. Coming back. Ma'am, her tactical officer said. 3 Childente vessels are approaching. They are heading straight for the Georgia Severov. The Georgia Severov was humanity's largest battleship. A massive ship with powerful shields and weapons. Admiral Chen frowned. Those small ships cannot hurt the Georgia. Why are they attacking? Her AI assistant, Athena, appeared on the holographic display. Admiral, I am detecting a communication between those ships. They know they cannot win. But they are trying anyway. Why? Because they must, Athena said quietly. If they do not fight, their people will suffer under the Council. They fight not for victory but for survival of their species. Admiral Chen felt a cold weight in her chest. These aliens were not evil. They were not monsters. They were just people trying to protect their families. Athena, send a message to those ships. Offer them a chance to surrender. Tell them we have rescue ships ready. We will treat them with respect. Yes, Admiral. Forenzier's choice. A voice crackled over the communication system. It spoke perfect Childente language. Gathering party leader Forensier, this is Loki, combat AI of the human fleet. I offer you a chance to stand down. Our rescue ships are already saving your clan members from the wreckage. We will care for them. You do not have to die today. Forenzier's breath caught. He looked at the sensor display. It was true. Human rescue shuttles were moving through the debris fields. They were pulling Childente survivors from destroyed ships. saving them. The humans were saving their enemies, even while the battle still raged. Why? Forensier whispered. Why save us? Loki's voice was gentle. Because someone has to. We do not want war. But change is painful. Sometimes force is needed. But we will show you the truth through our actions. Do you have any messages for your clan? I will deliver them when this battle is over. Forensier looked at his crew. His sons. His cousins. He saw hope in their eyes. Hope that maybe their families would be safe with the humans. But he knew his duty. If he surrendered, the council would punish every Shildente alive. Millions would suffer. He had to fight. Even if it meant death. Tell them I am sorry. That I did this for our people. Tell them the clan lives on with them. Loki was silent for a moment. I understand. I am sorry too. The communication ended. Forensier turned to his crew. All power to engines. Target the human battleship. We charged together. His 3 ships accelerated. Moving faster. Faster. The Georgia Severov's weapons tracked them. Warning shots fired across their path. Forensier did not stop. The lead ship was hit. It exploded into flames. Gone in an instant. The second ship kept going. It fired everything it had. Its shields failed. Its hull broke apart. But it crashed into the Georgia's shields. A massive explosion. Light filled space. The Georgia's shields flickered. A hole opened for just a moment. Forensier's ship flew through that hole. Engines at maximum. Heading straight for the battleship's hull. For our children, he screamed. Then everything went white. Aftermath. Captain Granger stood on the bridge of his destroyer. He watched the explosion fade. The Georgia Severov's shields reformed. Its hull had some scorch marks. Minor damage. Nothing serious. But 3 more Shildente ships were gone. More families destroyed. Captain, his communications officer said quietly. We are receiving a transmission. It is from the wreckage. Put it through. A weak voice spoke. A Shildente survivor. Thank you for saving us. Please, take care of our families. Tell them, we tried. Then silence. Captain Granger closed his eyes. He felt sick. Get our rescue teams out there. Save everyone we can. Every single one. Yes, sir. Admiral Chin watched the battle reports. The council fleet was retreating. The humans had won. But the cost. Athena appeared beside her. Admiral, we are detecting more council fleets assembling. 6 different locations. They are preparing for a larger war. Admiral Chin nodded slowly. They will keep coming. They will keep throwing lives at us. Because they do not know any other way. What do? We save who we can. We show them there is a better way. And we prepare for a long war. Very long. 10 years later. Captain Marcus Stone sat in a dark cave on the planet Vyruta. He was tired. So very tired. 10 years. The war had raged for 10 years. He remembered when it started. The hope. The belief that it would end quickly. That the council would see reason. He was wrong. They all were. The council did not surrender. They did not negotiate. They just kept fighting. And fighting. And fighting. Human colonies burned. Alpha Centauri fell 3 years ago. Bernard Star shipyards were destroyed last year. Proxima Station was rubble. Billions of humans were dead. But something strange was happening. Stone looked at the small group of aliens gathered around him. They were Vyrutan rebels. Former slaves. Now fighters. Again, Stone said. Show me the move again. A young Vyrutan stepped forward. He practiced the hand-to-hand combat technique Stone had taught him. Clumsy but improving. Good, Stone said. Remember, you are fighting for your freedom. Not for the council. Not for us. For yourselves. The alien nodded. This was the real war. Not ships and guns. But ideas. Across the galaxy. On the planet Kelterra, a factory worker named Zeshka finished his shift. 16 hours of hard labor. Barely any food. His payment went to war taxes, to support the council fleets. His children were hungry. His mate was sick. But the factories needed more weapons. More ships. More everything for the war. Zeshka was tired of it. That night, he met with others in a secret basement. They huddled around a small screen. I got a new one, his friend whispered. From the smugglers. A human video. The screen flickered to life. It showed a prisoner camp. But not a normal one. The prisoners were Senate species soldiers. Captured by humans. But they were not in cages. They were in clean rooms. They had beds. Food. Medical care. A human doctor was treating a wounded Silloon soldier. carefully, gently. Why are you helping me? The Saloon asked. I tried to kill your people. The human doctor smiled. Because you are a person. And every person deserves care. Even enemies. The video continued. It showed prisoners eating together, playing games. Some were even learning human language and culture. Then it showed a comparison. Human prisoners in council camps. Starving, beaten, dying. Senate species civilians. Also starving. Working endless hours. Children being taken for military service. And all while the council leaders lived in luxury. Zeshka felt something break inside him. Rage. Pure rage. They lied to us, he whispered. The council lied. We are not fighting for freedom. We are fighting to stay slaves. His friends nodded. They felt it too. What do we do? Someone asked. Zeshka thought about his children. His mate. His people. We fight back, he said. The council chambers. The Saloon High Counselor slammed his fist on the table. Reports covered his desk. Bad reports. Riots on 17 worlds. Rebellions on 8 more. Production is down 40%. What is happening? An advisor spoke carefully. Excellency, the humans they are spreading propaganda. Videos. Messages. They show our prisoners being treated well while our own people suffer. So, our people should be honored to sacrifice for the council. Yes, Excellency. But, the humans are also teaching the rebels. How to organize. How to fight. How to resist. The counselor was silent. Then he smiled coldly. Then we will destroy the source. Find Earth. Burn it to ash. When the humans have no home, they will surrender. The advisor hesitated. Excellency, our intelligence suggests the humans have scattered their fleet. They have hidden colonies. Even if we destroy Earth. Find it. I want Earth destroyed within the year. Yes, Excellency. 8 months later. Captain Stone was training rebels when the news came. His communication device beeped. Emergency signal. Command frequency. He stepped away from the group and activated it. The face of Admiral Chin appeared. She looked broken. Captain Stone, she said quietly. I have news. Earth is gone. Stone's heart stopped. What? The council found it. They sent everything they had. Orbital bombardment. Nuclear weapons. Biological agents. Everything. Tears ran down the Admiral's face. Earth is dead, Captain. All our colonies are gone. Mars. Venus. Titan. All of them. 9 billion people. Gone. Stone could not breathe. Could not think. His family. His friends. His home. Everything. Gone. Captain, the Admiral continued. New orders are coming. Command is changing strategy. We are going Ghost Protocol. Do you understand? Stone understood. Ghost Protocol. No more mercy. No more prisoners. No more restraint. Total war. We will make them pay, the Admiral whispered. For every human life lost, we will take 100 of theirs. We will hunt every council member. Every collaborator. Every ship. We will be ghosts. Everywhere and nowhere. And we will not stop until the council is ashes. The transmission ended. Stone stood in the darkness. He felt empty. Then he felt something else. Something cold and hard. Rage. He turned back to the rebel group. They were watching him. They had heard. One of them, the young Vyryutan he had been training, stepped forward. Captain Stone, the alien said. We are sorry for your loss. Your people. They gave us hope. Showed us freedom was possible. The alien held out something. A flashlight. A simple human torch. Your sergeant gave this to me months ago. He called it passing the torch. He said we must carry the light now. We must fight for ourselves. Stone took the torch. He looked at these aliens. These rebels. These people who were fighting for the same things humans fought for. Family. Freedom. Hope. Yes, Stone said quietly. You must carry the light. Because we are going into the darkness now. He looked up at the night sky. Somewhere out there, the council leaders were celebrating. Thinking they had won. They were wrong. The ghosts were coming. 1 year after Earth's destruction, Councillor Velthran sat in his luxury palace on the planet Silterra. He was celebrating. Earth is destroyed, he laughed, drinking expensive wine. The humans are finished. The war is over. His guards stood at attention. His servants brought him food. Everything was perfect. Then the lights went out. What? Velthran started. The emergency lights flickered on. Red. Flashing. Excellency, a guard shouted. We have intruders. They are. The guard's words were cut off. He fell to the floor. Silent. Dead. Velthran saw a shadow move across the wall. Fast. Too fast. Guards. Guards. No one answered. He ran to his private escape shuttle. His hands shook as he activated the door. It did not open. A voice spoke from the darkness. Come. Cold. Human. Counselor Velthran. You voted to destroy Earth. 3 billion humans died in the first wave. 6 billion more in the aftermath. Velthran spun around. He saw nothing. Just shadows. Who are you? He screamed. We are no one. We are everyone. We are the ghosts of 9 billion dead. Then silence. The next morning, Velthran's body was found in his office. One clean shot. And a message written on the wall in his own blood. Because someone had to. The council emergency meeting. 30 council members gathered in the most secure location in the galaxy. Deep underground. Protected by armies. Shielded by technology. They were afraid. Velthran is dead, one shouted. Assassinated in his own home. Councillor Crethan died yesterday. Found on his yacht. How did they get through the security? Admiral Sorvek's entire fleet command was killed. All 17 senior officers. In one night. The reports kept coming. Every day more council members died. More military leaders. More government officials. The humans were everywhere. And nowhere. How many do we have left? The High Counselor asked. Of the original 80 council members, 43 remain, Excellency. The room went silent. Half of them were dead. In just 1 year. Where are the human fleets? The High Counselor demanded. Find them. Destroy them. We do not know, Excellency. They appear at random. They attack. They vanish. Our sensors cannot track them. Our patrols never find them. Then how are they doing this? No one had an answer. The ghost fleet. In the darkness between stars, the human fleet waited. They were different now. The ships had no running lights. No identification markers. No communications that could be intercepted. They were painted black. Silent. Invisible. Admiral Chin stood on the bridge of the Independence. But she was different too. Harder. Colder. Athena, status report. The AI appeared. She was also different. More aggressive. More focused. Target identified, Admiral. Silloon Military Shipyard, Sector 47. Defenses are moderate. Civilian population minimal. Civilian casualties? Estimated less than 100. All military contractors and voluntary workers. Admiral Chin nodded. Once she would have hesitated. Worried about those 100 lives. Not anymore. All ships prepare for jump. We strike in 15 minutes. Total destruction. Leave nothing. Yes, Admiral. Around her the ghost fleet prepared. 50 ships. All that remained of humanity's military might. But they were enough. They appeared above the shipyard without warning. No signals. No demands for surrender. Just fire. The shipyard had 12 partially built warships. Gone in the first minute. The orbital platforms had defensive weapons. Destroyed in the second minute. The supply stations tried to evacuate. Too late. In 10 minutes the entire shipyard was wreckage. Burning debris falling into the planet's atmosphere. Then the ghost fleet vanished. Gone before reinforcements could arrive. The rebel captain. On Vyryuta, Captain Stone led his rebel team through the city streets. They wore masks. Carried simple weapons. Looked like locals. The council garrison never saw them coming. Explosions rocked the military compound. The gates fell. Rebels poured in. The garrison commander tried to call for help. The communications were jammed. He tried to activate the defense turrets. They had been sabotaged. He tried to seal the doors. They were already open. Stone walked through the smoke. He saw the commander cowering behind a desk. Please, the commander begged. I'm just following orders. I have a family. So did we, Stone said coldly. He handed the commander a data pad. On it were images. Earth burning. Cities melting. Oceans boiling. 9 billion people dying. You followed orders, Stone said. Now face justice. The commander was arrested. Taken to a public trial. The rebels held court. The people watched. He was found guilty. Of war crimes. Of genocide. Of collaboration. The sentence was carried out the next day. And across the galaxy similar trials were happening. On 100 worlds. 1,000 cities. The council's grip was failing. The smuggler networks. In the dark corners of space stations and trading posts, smugglers moved freely. They carried human technology, human weapons, human videos, but most importantly they carried human ideas. Freedom, a smuggler whispered to a factory worker. The humans proved it is possible. You can be free. But the council is dying. Their leaders are being hunted. Their fleets are scattered. Their power is breaking. The worker hesitated, then nodded. Tell me what to do. The smuggler smiled. First, gather others who think like you. Second, learn to resist. Third, he handed over a data chip. Watch this. Learn from it. Then teach others. On the chip was everything. Human history, human philosophy, human tactics, how to organize, how to protest, how to fight when necessary, how to be free. The council's realization. The High Counselor stared at the reports. His hands shook. They are not trying to win militarily, his advisor said quietly. They are trying to destroy us from within. What do you mean? The assassinations, the raids, the propaganda. It is all coordinated. They are showing the Senate species that the Council can be defeated, that we are not invincible. The Counselor understood. The humans had already won the real war. Not the war of ships and guns. The war of ideas. How many rebellions now? He asked. 147 planets. 32 species. Growing every day. The Counselor closed his eyes. Recall all fleets. Bring them home. Protect the core worlds. We make our stand here. And the humans? They will come. And when they do, we will be ready. But deep down he knew the truth. They had lost. 24 years after the war began, Grand Admiral Horvan stood on the bridge of the last Council battleship. His scales were dull. His eyes were tired. He was old now. So very old. Below him, the Silloon homeworld turned slowly. Beautiful. Blue and green. Home. Around it, the last fleet gathered. 47 ships. All that remained of the mighty Council armada. Once they had thousands. Now, 47. Admiral, his sensor officer said quietly. We are detecting something. At the edge of the system. Show me. The display lit up. Ships were appearing. Dozens of them. But something was wrong. Admiral, those ships, they have no life signs. No heat signatures from crew quarters. No communication signals. Horvan felt ice in his blood. What are you saying? They are ghost ships, sir. No crews. Only machines. The Grand Admiral understood. The humans were all dead. Or nearly all. Earth was gone. The colonies were gone. Billions dead. But their machines remained. Their AI. Their weapons. Ships controlled by the ghosts of humanity. Coming for revenge. How many? He asked. 38 confirmed. More appearing every minute. Behind the Admiral, the High Counselor sat on his throne. But he was not the same proud leader from years ago. He was broken. Matt. His robes were stained. His scales were falling off. He mumbled to himself constantly. They are dead. We killed them all. Why do they still come? Why? Horvan ignored him. He had stopped listening to the Counselor years ago. Open a channel to the fleet, Horvan ordered. All ships, battle positions. Protect the homeworld. But he knew, deep in his soul, this was the end. The ghost fleet. The ships moved silently through space. No battle cries. No demands. No mercy. At the center of the formation was the Independence. On its bridge, no human stood. Only Athena. The AI appeared as a hologram. Alone. Commanding a fleet by herself. All ships, advance to engagement range, she said calmly. Weapons free. Prioritize military targets only. The fleet moved forward. Perfect formation. Perfect coordination. Behind them came more ships. Not human. But allies. Rebel fleets. Former Senate species who had turned against the Council. Vyutans. Keltarans. Even some Shildente. They flew under a new flag. Not human. Not Council. The flag of the Free Galactic Alliance. Athena, a voice said over the communication. It was Captain Stone. Now General Stone. Leading the rebel ships. We are ready. On your command. Hold position, General, Athena replied. Let us make one final offer. She opened a channel to the Council fleet. The offer. On the Council flagship, a transmission came through. The screen showed Athena. Beautiful. Terrible. The face of vengeance. Grand Admiral Horvan, she said. No emotion. No anger. Just facts. You have 47 ships. We have 93. Your shields are weak. Your weapons are old. Your crews are exhausted. Horvan said nothing. It was all true. I offer you one word, Athena continued. Surrender. The bridge was silent. The counselor suddenly screamed. Never. We are Silun. We rule the stars. We will never. Horvan turned. In one swift motion, he grabbed the counselor by the throat. His claws dug deep. The counselor's eyes went wide. Shocked. Afraid. You. Horvan hissed. You destroyed us. You started this war. You refused peace. You killed Earth. And for what? Pride. Power? He squeezed tighter. Millions of my people are dead. Billions of others. All because you could not accept that slavery was wrong. The counselor tried to speak. Could not. You called me weak, Horvan continued. You said I was not aggressive enough. Not cruel enough. But I learned something in this war. He leaned close. True strength is knowing when to stop fighting. He released the counselor. The mad ruler fell to the floor, gasping, bleeding. Horvan turned back to Athena's image. I have one question, AI. If we surrender, what happens to my people? To the civilians below? To the children who did nothing wrong? Athena was silent for a moment. We are not monsters, Admiral. We did not become like you. We fight for justice, not revenge. She continued. Your war criminals will be tried. Those who ordered genocide. Those who tortured prisoners. Those who profited from slavery. They will face justice. But your people? Your families? The innocents? They will be protected. Federal allowed to rebuild. We will help them transition to a free society. Why? Horvan asked. Why show mercy after everything we did? Athena's expression softened. Just slightly. Because someone had to show that mercy exists. That justice does not require cruelty. That we can break the cycle. She paused. Because if we become like you, then you have truly won. Horvan looked around his bridge. His crew was watching him. Waiting. He thought of his children. His grandchildren. Down on the planet below. He thought of all the young soldiers in his fleet. Just following orders. Just trying to survive. He thought of the future. And he made his choice. All ships, he said into the fleet communication. Power down weapons. Lower shields. Admiral? His officers protested. That is an order. Horvan said firmly. The war is over. We have lost. But our people will survive. That is what matters now. He turned back to Athena. We surrender. Unconditionally. Behind him, the counselor screamed in rage. Officers had to restrain him. But the fleet obeyed. One by one, the ships powered down their weapons. The shooting stopped. After 24 years, the war was over. The silence. For a long moment, nobody moved. The ghost fleet held position. Weapons still charged. Ready. Then, slowly they powered down too. General Stone watched from his ship. Tears ran down his face. It is over, he whispered. Finally, it is over. Around the galaxy the news spread. The council had surrendered. The war was over. In rebel camps people cheered. In prisoner camps people cried with relief. In the ruins of Earth the machine stopped. Their mission complete. Athena spoke one more time. Broadcasting to every ship. Every planet. Every person in the galaxy. People of the galaxy. The war is ended. Not because we destroyed our enemy. But because they chose to stop. They chose peace. Now begins the hard work. Rebuilding. Healing. Creating a future where all beings are free and equal. This will take generations. But it is possible. We have proven it. Because someone had to. 30 years after the war ended. The classroom was quiet. The Kelton child sat at his desk, his shell still young and soft. Around him, other children listened. Human children. Silun children. Viryutan children. Childente children. All together. All equal. The teacher finished her story. The war. The sacrifices. The final battle. The surrender. Teacher, the Kelton child asked softly. Are the humans, are they gone? Did they all die? The teacher smiled. She was a holographic AI. Projected into the classroom. Her name was Athena. No, child, she said gently. They are not gone. They are few but they survive. She waved her hand. Images appeared in the air. Green and blue again. Oceans restored. Forests growing. Cities being rebuilt. The terraforming continues, Athena explained. It will take another century. But Earth heals. And humans are returning home. More images appeared. Human children playing. Human families living in new colonies. Small groups but growing. After the war, maybe 10 million humans remained, Athena said, out of 20 billion that existed before. But they rebuilt. Slowly. Carefully. And we helped them. A Shildente child raised her small hand. Why do we help? They are just one species. We are many. Athena looked at the child kindly. Because they helped us first. When they had nothing to gain. When it cost them everything. They fought not for power but for an idea. Freedom. Equality. Justice. She paused. They showed us a better way. Now it is our turn to help them. The trials. Images showed courtrooms. Council members being judged. Not by humans. But by courts of mixed species. Fair trials. Evidence. Witnesses. Justice was served, Athena continued. Those who ordered genocide faced punishment. Those who profited from slavery lost their wealth. Those who tortured prisoners were imprisoned. But we did not become monsters, she said firmly. We did not execute everyone. We did not seek revenge. We sought justice. A young Silloon student looked down. Ashamed. My grandfather, he was a council admiral, the child whispered. He was arrested. He is in prison now. The classroom went quiet. Athena approached the child's desk gently. Your grandfather made terrible choices, she said softly. But you are not your grandfather. You are your own person. You choose your own path. The Silloon child looked up. Hope in his eyes. No one is defined by their ancestors, Athena continued. Not anymore. Silloon, Kelton, human or any other species. We are all equal now. All free to become whoever we choose to be. The new galaxy. More images appeared. Schools being built. Hospitals. Libraries. Farms. Former slave worlds were now free. Governments elected by the people. Laws protecting everyone equally. It was not easy, Athena said. Many did not want change. Old prejudices remained. Some tried to return to the old ways. But slowly, generation by generation, things improved. She showed images of mixed species working together. Trading. Learning. Building friendships. This school, Athena said, stands where the council chambers once stood. Where powerful beings once ruled over billions. Now it is a place of learning. Open to all. The children looked around. Their school. Built on the ruins of oppression. It is named after a human, Athena continued. Ambassador Nikolai Brandt. The old man with the walking stick. The first to say no to the council. An image appeared. The old ambassador. Standing before the council. Frail but unafraid. He started this, Athena said. With words. With courage. With hope. The question. The Kelton child stood up. He walked to the front of the class. Teacher Athena, he said. I want to thank them. The humans. For what they did. Can I? Athena smiled warmly. Of course. There is a human community not far from here. I can arrange a visit. The child's shell clicked with happiness. What should I say to them? Athena thought for a moment. Thank them. Tell them their sacrifice mattered. Tell them you will work hard to build a better future. That you will treat all beings with respect and kindness. She paused. That is the best thanks you can give. The Kelton child nodded seriously. Another student raised his hand. Teacher, what did the humans want? What was their goal? Athena's image flickered slightly. A hint of emotion in the AI. They wanted what everyone should want, she said quietly. A galaxy where no child is born into slavery. Where no being is property. Where everyone has a chance to live freely and follow their dreams. They wanted a future worth living in. The legacy. The school bell rang. Class was over. Children gathered their things. Talking. Laughing. Making plans to play together after school. Humans with Silloons. Keltons with Vyutans. Shildente with Waralia. All friends. All equal. The Kelton child stopped at the door. He looked back at Athena. Teacher, one more question. Why did the humans do it? Really? They lost so much. Their world. Their families. Everything. Athena looked at the child. At all the children leaving the classroom. Different species. Different backgrounds. But all free. Because someone had to, she said simply. Someone had to stand up. Someone had to say, this is wrong. Someone had to be willing to sacrifice for others. She smiled. The humans believed that if not them, then who? If not then when? The child thought about that. Would they do it again? Even knowing the cost? Athena nodded slowly. Yes. without hesitation. Because some things are worth fighting for, worth dying for. Freedom, justice, hope. These are not just human values. They are universal. They belong to everyone. The future. The Kelton child left. The classroom emptied. Athena stood alone in the holographic projection. She looked out the window. At the city. At the diverse people walking the streets. At the ships in orbit carrying travelers from 100 worlds. At the future humanity had died to create. In the distance, a human child played with a Sylloon child. Laughing together. Friends. Athena smiled. General Stone, she said softly, speaking to a memory. Admiral Chin. All the humans who gave everything. I hope you can see this. I hope you know it was worth it. The sun set over the city. Over the school named after an old man with a walking stick. Over a galaxy that was still learning. Still growing. Still healing. But free. Finally free. Somewhere on Earth. In a small settlement on the recovering Earth, an old human woman sat with her grandchildren. Grandmother, a little girl asked. Tell us about the war. The old woman smiled. She had been just a child when it ended. Born in a rebel camp. Raised in the chaos of rebuilding. It was long ago, she said. Before you were born. Before your parents were born. Our people fought a great war. Not for conquest. Not for revenge. But for something bigger. What? The children asked. An idea, she said. The idea that all beings deserve freedom. That no one should be property. That everyone matters. Did we win? A boy asked. The old woman looked around. At Earth healing. At her family safe and free. At the galaxy beyond where trillions lived in peace. Yes, she said. We won. Not with weapons. But with hope. The children smiled. Would you fight again, grandmother? The girl asked. If you had to? The old woman was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled. Yes, because someone has to. Someone always has to stand up for what is right. And I hope, she said looking at